Hey everyone, welcome to Thoughts on Thursday. We are up to season 2, episode 7, and this is a session we've been meaning to have for some time because in all of our sessions, and I think in all the discussions across the industry at the moment, everyone is talking about technology, and everyone is talking about technology as if it is a mystery, an unknown skill that we need to all grasp. So we're incredibly lucky to have Andrew Wheal, who is here to demystify the world of hotel technology. I think one of the biggest things for all of us to take away is that there really is no mystery to enhancing your revenues or managing your costs better with technology. There are a fantastic pool of partners out there that will more than happily walk anyone through how different systems work and how it all comes together. And now really is the time when things are quiet. So you can't change the tires on a race car while it's racing along. Now really is the time to start looking at this stuff. So really excited to have this session. I think it's going to be some great content for people to understand. And delighted to have Andrew back. Andrew, over to you.
Thank you very much, James. Welcome, everybody. Season 2, Episode 7. So I'm Andrew Wheal, founder and chief tech expert at Hospitality Tech Expert. A little bit of my background. I'm about, I was going to say about 20, but it's nearer to 30 years in hospitality these days. I have opened the Shangri-La Hotel in the Shard and the South Place Hotel for the D&D restaurant chain in London. I've worked for big companies like Marriott in their data side. I've worked in asset management for owners to understand all about industries. But in the last 2.5 years, I finally gave up to my inner geek. You can see there all pictures of me there. Yep, right through from childhood. And I joined Muse 2.5 years ago. And Muse, for those of you who don't know, is one of the fastest growing PMS companies based out of Prague in the Czech Republic. Unfortunately, in July, I had to take redundancy from Muse as they scaled back their international operations. So I took the opportunity to found Hospitality Tech Expert. The idea was to be able to provide information and guidance to hoteliers, to tech companies, and to young startups in the industry, including when I say young startups, I mean young mentees as well, people who might be interested in tech. So that's me. I'm going to explain what a tech stack is. And we're going to have a look at a couple of different tech stacks. We're going to look at some of the considerations for deploying a tech stack, whether you're opening a new hotel or whether you're simply thinking, yep, it's time to rip out the old technology and put in the new. We will look at some of the methodology building the tech stack. We will look at great new or improving tech, because in the last 6 months, my goodness, there's been some amazing companies who started out and some amazing enhancements in technology. I'm going to talk a little bit about the emerging companies to work for in tech. I know for those of you who are studying hospitality management or early in your careers and have an interest in moving into tech, then I'd like to sort of give you some ideas and hence how to get into tech and what to study at the end of it. So let's talk about the tech stack then. So what is a tech stack? A tech stack is the pieces of technology that we put together, and often it's referred to in that stack, to make a hotel's technical ecosystem work together. This, for example, is what we would call a PMS-centric tech stack. And what I mean by that is the first piece of tech that you purchase, that you look to, is the property management system. We've got some examples there: Opera, Amadeus, Guestline, and Muse. Once you've got your PMS in place, you want to build the other components around it. And there's 4 of the most common ones there: distribution, TravelClick, SiteMinder, and Sabre, being your connections out to the OTAs and the wholesalers. Finance, to your systems like Xero, Sage, and QuickBooks. Marketing, Oki for upselling, MailChimp for your mail campaigns, QuickText for communicating with your customers, or revenue management, Ideas, Pace, and Duetto, for example. So you understand there, first of all, we're putting the PMS, and then we're working out, okay, what are we plugging into this to make our tech stack? The other way to do it is to look at what's called a CRM-centric tech stack. The example here that I've put in the top right-hand corner is a core. So a core have a customer relationship management system called TARS. And their idea is that's the center of their universe. That's where all of their guest information sits. So all of their loyalty programs and everything goes in there. Even all of their pricing and everything is in that CRM system. And then all of the other systems, again, we've got distribution, finance. This time we've got the PMS on the outside and the revenue management plugging in to this customer-centric system. In this instance, I've shown you a PMS ecosystem. And in the center there, you've got your PMSs, Amadeus, Cloudbeds, Muse, etc. And then around the edge, you've got some of the key functions that technology supplies these days. So in distribution, let's take a broader look at distribution, for example. Distribution most commonly is seen as that distribution channel, as we say, to people like TravelClick, DEdge, Star, Sabre, which then goes on to your OTAs and your GDS suppliers. But also distribution, we mustn't forget, is about websites as well. And then from your website, you've got booking engines, things like the booking button, for example, from SiteMind or Muse as their Muse distributor. Or even distribution systems can link out to events and meetings. So you've got like Event Temple and Pixia there. On the marketing side, you can see guest reputation, communication, email marketing, guest upselling, concierges, operations, housekeeping, door locks, POS check-in, etc., etc. So you can see how complex it is to build, and this would be your tech stack. So what about considerations for deploying tech? So it's so easy to go and buy the shiny new piece of technology, right? So the first question to ask is, what problem are you trying to solve? Okay, so we're thinking about doing either guest communication or upselling or something like that. And if you've got a specific goal, then you know you're on the right route. The next question to ask is, what software integrates well? Ask what will be the tech experience. And let me explain what I mean by that is, what is the experience that your customer will have using that technology? Last two, how will you measure the impact? Important for all projects like this. The question is it going to increase revenue? Is it going to reduce your costs? Is it going to increase brand awareness? Essentially, what measure constitutes a success? So if you put this technology in, you say we're trying to increase revenue, it's good to have an idea to say, okay, so the tech is going to cost us X amount of money. So what will constitute success is when we exceed what we've spent on that tech. So how do you go about building the tech stack? Methodology. The first thing to do, and I'm working with a chain of European hotels at the moment on exactly this, we look at which systems are irreplaceable. Next is research, right? You can never do enough research on the tech that you're going to invest in. Seek reviews and recommendations and work out the core of your tech stack, as we said there, right? The two models. What are you going to go for first, your PMS or your CRM? And remember, never to lose sight of that guest experience. Let's talk about some of the growth areas that we've seen since March. So keyless door locks, of course. People are looking for ways to reduce guest contact with those physical keys now. Food ordering apps. Yeah, really important for people to be able to order from their tables, to be able to order even for takeaway and things like that. AI driven revenue management systems. I'm seeing a lot of that. Why is that the case? Well, two reasons. Firstly, is that people are trying to find ways to centralize operations like a revenue management, for example. So anywhere where they can have artificial intelligence that helps the revenue managers. Chatbots, yep. Of course, people are asking a lot more questions. And if you've got less staff now, or you are deploying your staff in different ways, then chatbots are a great way. And they are so much better than they used to be. Guest communication platforms, similar to chatbots in some ways, but it's that kind of once you've made a reservation, how are you communicating with your guest about your new hygiene standards, the new ways to check in and approach the hotel or move around the hotel? And then last, but in no ways least, is staff communication and wellness. It is such a tough time for everybody at the moment. I'm seeing such a growth in this area, which is hugely important to keep our staff safe and well. Let's talk about a few companies that you may or may not know. It's all about getting that guest feedback, but also intertwining it with your operation to understand, like you say, how departments are performing in the eyes of your guests. Tell us about Impala.
They're an emerging kind of middleware company. So where tech stack, where those different tech companies you're showing on that one page don't all talk to each other. they claim to be able to sit in the middle and plug people together and force them to talk to each other.
4Suite are a door lock company. So they are one of the front runners at the moment, I would say, in mobile door locks. Duffel is a distribution company. So they are really trying to shake up the distribution to mainly in the airline space, but I'm thinking they'll probably come into the hotel space as well. Getting lots of traction at the moment with airlines and distribution. Really interesting. Ask Suite. They are probably one of the forefront runners in chatbots. So Opti is mainly based around operations. They are trying to make operations more efficient. So really like diverse companies there, and this time that we're going through at the moment is so challenging, but it's really fascinating to see the growth of some of these forward-thinking companies. How to get into tech? The first question to ask is, do you have an operational background that translate into technology? So I'm thinking about things like revenue management. Who do you follow on the networking platforms? So like on LinkedIn, if you've got an interest in tech, there are so many great people and great societies and clubs and forums to join. Which events do you attend and what do you read? So have a real think about these. And if you can hone in on a few areas, then that will help you get into tech because you start immersing yourself in the world with the people who are talking about it day in, day out. How about sources of information? So they're Hospitality Tech Next Generation, great organization to join. Always have quite a few webinars. Hotel Tech Report. So they've done marketing really well. So Hotel Tech Report is about customer reviews of technology. It's Hospitality Tech News, techtalk.travel, which is actually founded by David Turnbull, who I used to work with years ago. He's had a few companies now, or Hotel Hero, which is kind of like almost like a little mini marketplace for technology. So what should you study to get into hospitality tech? Really the best thing to study to get into a hospitality tech is hospitality. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you say in most cases, in order to understand the world of hospitality tech, if you can talk in the language of hospitality, if you're in the operations of hospitality, it's easier to translate this geekiness of the tech world to the people who are going to actually buy and interact with your software. So lastly, how is the GrowthWorks and Hospitality Expert partnering up to help you moving forwards? Well, this is being recorded, so I know that there's no way that I can shy away from this. And I'm making a pledge to you today that each week on the Hospitality Tech Slack channel in the GrowthWorks, I'm going to post some information on at least one piece of hospitality tech. And your job as members of the GrowthWorks is to post as much as you can in the thread. And please use a thread underneath. You'll see whenever there's a post, there's a way to thread underneath because it helps with your subscriptions and for people to find the information. I want as much information as we can about that tech. I want to start healthy debates.
Incredibly generous, Andrew. I think you've been a great participant and kind of champion for us. I think the other thing I'd say is that if you want more ongoing mentoring, I think, Andrew, it's fair to say you're also available as an ongoing mentor, right? If there's a small group of people on the platform who want to get together more regularly and chat about, their experience in technology, the way they want to develop, then there's definitely an opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah,
so really,
and we have somebody today who we've done a couple of mentee sessions with, and so it doesn't have to be just tech either. So yeah, more of that.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. But I think the key takeaway from me is that there's such a big opportunity here for hotels just to use a little bit of time while things are quieter to be looking at how can I grow more revenues using technology and how can I be more efficient in the back office using technology. And as Andrew says, it's about education first in order to remove that fear and give people confidence that they can kind of make changes and move forward, because it's about freeing up time so people can deliver better guest experiences, be in front of the desk with customers and not tied up filling in forms and being inefficient. So Andrew, thanks so much. I think please do take him up on that offer, on the Hospitality Tech channel, with his kind of office hours. It's a great idea. And of course, just in terms of as a tech mentor, I think Saba made a great point to me privately in the chat, if you don't mind me saying, so you can almost imagine a whole kind of course or educational piece popping up here, because it really is something the industry needs to talk more about. So we'll take that idea away as we're getting creative with what the team are up to as well. Thanks everyone for coming, spending a Thursday evening with us, chatting tech. It's been a really good Thoughts on Thursday. Next week, we're going to be hearing from some of our mentors around their field experiences, why they're choosing to mentor and give back to the industry. So that should be a really fun one as well. Estelle, we'll be hearing from yourself, and Mirko as well, who's a seasoned GM. So it should be a great session. Look forward to seeing you same time next week. Have a great weekend, and thank you, Andrew, for your prep. Great session.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.